You came from a great family,
I went to prison, right?
okay? You did. How can somebody, if you went to prison, that's the end of it. You can't be nothing after that. Welcome to another episode of Second Chance Superstars. Today, I have a real superstar with me. I wanted him to be my first actual guest because he's so popular. I had a relative in town that went to school with him. Some call him Silver Fox. Some call him dad. Some call him friend. He's just an inspiration to me, a person that has experienced wild success, a person that you can learn a lot from, a person that is well known in Tulsa in many different circles, a friend of mine. Been a friend of his mother's, his family, his children, and just am inspired by his story. Today we have with us Mr. Damon Ousley. Damon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Damon, you have a podcast yourself. You want to tell people about your podcast and your social media if they want to follow you?
Yeah, I have a podcast. I'm getting it back started. We shut down for a minute. I was getting too many people in trouble, I guess.
What do you talk about on your show?
I talk about an array of things. I talk about everything, man. Relationships, and not just women, just relationships, period. And that's the most popular relationships. I talk about my perspective on relationships, about, females' perspective on relationships. And that, to me, that's the problem. We're not coming together. We're not understood. We're lost. What a woman thinks a relationship is and what I think a relationship is. And so that's what we talk about. And what a man get married and he with a woman, and how I don't agree with how everything all of a sudden changes. See, I'm one of the people to say, I'm the catch. The man is the catch. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the provider. He's everything. So why we got to do all this extra to get a woman to take care of her? Don't she need to be doing the extra? She needs to be doing something. That's just my take. So, and that's why my problem I have with relationships. Y'all don't do enough to get me.
So you have opposing views. You got a married person that's your co-host, that's married and sees it a little bit different from you. Then you got yourself as a single guy. Then you have women in their perspective. Is that right?
Right.
One of the things that I thought was very unique was when we were talking just before we came on air about even different cultural beliefs about one wife versus multiple wives and that kind of thing. So do you explore all of those kinds of issues?
I'm not going to explore anything that's dealing with marriage.
Because you are single.
Right. Monogamy, polygamy. That's marriage. Monogamy, married to one person, polygamy, married to multiple women. I don't think one person, female, because that's just our nature. I don't think one female is enough for any man. Now, if you got men out here that brainwash themselves to believe in, let society tell them, yeah, that one woman is enough for you.
Well, how can people tune in to find out your views? Can they go to your social media, or what can they do?
Yeah, my podcast is my YouTube channel. It's all over up there now, but my YouTube channel is Damon Ousley, the Silver Fox Senior. Damon Ousley Senior, the Silver Fox. That's my YouTube channel. And then TikTok, Damon Ousley 1. My IG account is Ousley Damon, and Facebook, of course, is Damon Ousley.
Well, look him up. I'm not endorsing any one view or another. We want to talk about you and your beliefs on success. The person producing this show, Aaron King, who is amazing. You need to check him out for anything photography. He does weddings, photography, and all of that. Well, Aaron and I were talking, and he brought up one of your philosophies the last time I talked to you about real freedom in this world and owning your own business. Now, tell us about Damon Ousley's construction and your business and your philosophy on why a person, in your view, should own the business rather than working for the business?
So I grew up in hearing stories about my great grandfather, my uncles, and so forth, and they had their own business. So I grew up around people that owned their own, right? And I seen my mother and father go to work every day and come home complaining about the boss, about this or what happened. And so I never found that fascinating that I wanted to grow up and go to that. So I never wanted to go get a job, you know. Then when I did get a job in high school, my first job was Whitney's actually, so fast food. So when I did get a job, I'm sitting around watching how people were jumping through hoops, and you know, the people that did less work made the most money.
Wow.
You know, the manager and all that. As an adult, I got a job working for Davis Construction.
I know Tom Davis.
Tom Davis. He put up on the job in a black Corvette, giving instructions. That's it. And I'm like, and I'm over here digging ditches, trenches, carrying shingles on roofs. I'm doing all this. Bryce and his son and Sean. And I'm like, something ain't right. Seems like I'm doing everything. And this man, which now when I'm in business, I understand that. But I'm like, I want to do that. I want to give orders because they making the money. And so that's where I started. I just seen the people, like I said, when I was working at fast food, I seen the managers had better cars. You know, when I was working in construction, I seen the owner had better vehicles. So, and I wanted to be that person. I didn't want to be, you know, like I said, I worked fast food. I had a car, but I was always the person. I didn't make his money, you know, and I didn't make Mr. Davis money when I started working in construction. And I didn't want to be I didn't see me always being this person. So my objectives were to get out of that. You know, how do I get to Mr. Davis? So that's where it all started. How do I become Mr. Davis? How do I get a black Corvette? So that's where it all started.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people that see you and they want to be you today. And a lot of young people that may be watching this or other people, they say, man, I just want to go be Damon. But you didn't start that way. You didn't just jump up one day and go from digging that ditch into there. Have you had challenges in life? And if you've had challenges, what did you do? What were the challenges? And then what did you do to overcome them to get to be where you are today?
Hard work. I mean, consistency, man, hard work. That's you know, I had a goal. So the first thing, I had a goal. I wanted a black Corvette. You know, and I seen Mr. Davis, so I wanted that. And so that was my goal. My goal was to, by any means necessary, in the construction company. So I seen that I can touch, the most successful person that I can touch was Tom Davis. Mm-hmm. He had a construction company. So that's my journey to be I hated construction. You know, I carrying shingles, and I hated that. But to me, I seen, my father was a fireman. No disrespect to y'all. He didn't look happy. He came home every day. Well, you know, every other day, y'all work one off, too hard at work. He came home every day complaining about something. You know, I didn't want to be a fireman because he was always, you know, was never, he was, y'all off 2 days, 2 days, work went off. I was cool, but I didn't want to be that. I wanted peace and happiness.
You wanted to be in charge.
And well, that's peace and happiness. You know, you don't get that with somebody else giving you orders. And so that was my journey. I was like, I need to be that. Now I went to the military, then I went to college, you know, and I didn't see those paths leading to that black Corvette, you know. You
didn't think the military, so when you were in the military, you weren't thinking that was going to success?
Too many people was cussing me out, man. It was too many. I was a private. It was 50 ranks in here on top of me.
Then college, you went to college, you didn't see that as...
No, too many teachers, man, telling me my grade and telling me, it was too many people over me. I wasn't making you know what I'm saying? No, it was too many people had control over me.
Did you have any swerves getting to your success?
Not you know, so I started a construction company twice. I went to prison, right?
Okay, you did. How can somebody, if you went to prison, That's the end of it. You can't be nothing after that. That's what a lot of people think.
Right,
They
right.
think that how can you go from that to this? That's what this is about, because this is amazing for anybody. And you came from a great family.
Mm-hmm.
You had military, college, and somehow that happened. Went to prison.
Bad decision.
Making a bad decision. Okay, so from that, because there's a lot of people that make a bad decision and they just give up.
Yeah.
What did you do that can encourage folks that have a little setback? Can you tell us that that's not the end?
No. So first time I went to prison, and I said this: I didn't like handcuffs. I didn't like confinement. I didn't like nothing about incarceration. And so I said.
So that's nothing to be proud of.
No.
But people just think I got to go do that to get some street cred and all that.
I keep you street credit. I don't want it. and so when I'm in there, I'm around a bunch of, no disrespect to people, idiots, right? A bunch of idiots. I mean, from the warden to all the inmates. And I'm like, wow, man. I was thinking about, I didn't do number 4 months my first time, and I was thinking about how did they think they supposed to put me in here? So I'm saying, what do they see in me to say he needs to be in there? I get I committed a crime. Put me on punishment. Tell me I can't, whatever. But to put me in here with these people, that was the punishment for me. You had me in here with a bunch of nobody want to go anywhere type people, right? On a bunch of silliness. And so I said, how can I not ever come back here again? So I sit there and did a business plan.
You did what?
Yeah, I put my business. I'm in my dorm and put a business plan together.
You put together a business plan while in prison.
Yeah.
And so was it the construction company was a business plan?
Well, so you sit down and you do, what do you know how to do? Okay. And I said, okay, what is needed? What can I sell? You know what I'm saying? I went to prison for selling something. So I said, I'm good at selling. I'm a good salesman. What can I sell where I won't go to prison for? So I stepped back and said,
So what is your skill set? The things that you know how to already do.
Right. And I was like, well, I know construction.
Well, then another thing about business is always solving a problem for society.
Right.
So you said, what can I do and what do people need that I can do that? And selling was one of them.
Yeah. So I remembered when we were working for Mr. Davis, people would always pull up and say, hey, I need such and such done. And we would always say, let's call my dad or call Mr. We'll give him the boss's number. And he'll turn, and we don't end up doing those jobs because they was too small for him. So
did you start with total construction or did you start with a roofing company?
I started with repairs.
Repairs. And everybody needs that.
Yeah, right. But I did it differently. I started, so I'm gonna go holler at the prettiest girl in the room. Yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do. So I started with the prettiest girl, the girl in the room is government. So I said, I'm gonna try to get government contracts. I know nothing about them. But the first step I did was to go knock on the government door and ask them, hey, I wonder, how do I become a contractor with you guys?
So when you say the prettiest girl, the most lucrative contracts,
right?
You started with that, which was government.
Right. And hit a lick. Just so happened I had a cousin who was, had something to do with the city of Tulsa. And she said, well, you can do this. I didn't know you wanted to, and she set me in the right directions on that. And I started doing, what was it called at the time? ACA? No, I wouldn't call it ACA. It was called TDA, Tulsa Development Authority. I started doing jobs for them, small jobs, installing doors, screen doors, and this, and it started growing. And that's how I started in construction. But yeah, my goal was to never go back to prison. I went to prison twice. Mm-hmm. I slipped and fell. So, but my goal was to never come back to prison. So I had about a 15-year run of doing construction before I slipped and ended up going back to prison.
Okay, so this time when you went in, you already knew what you could do.
Yeah.
You knew you were good at construction.
Yeah.
And so what made you go from these little jobs to Millions today.
Well, because the arena you're in, you know what I'm saying? Just like when I said we were doing jobs for Mr. Davis. Somebody asked us, we built a house for Mr. Davis. Somebody put up and asked us, hey, do y'all do such and such? Same thing. If I'm putting a window in, somebody say, oh, do you put siding on? Do you do this? And what with the city was, you progress with them. So you do emergency, they call it emergency. You do repair jobs, emergency repair jobs. Then you do the roofing contract. Then you do the whole rehab. And so you step your game up as you can afford it, because you got to do 75% of the job before they give you any money back.
Wow.
So you had to step your game up to get your money up. So it took me. I remember it took me like 3 years to get enough money to hire people. On my 5th year, it was over with. But my 3rd year, I remember, because I was doing for 3 years, I did all the jobs myself, and I could only do emergency jobs. You're doing it by yourself. I remember I took on a few roofing jobs. You know, my guys will do a roof now in 4 hours. That same roof would have taken me a week to do by myself. You know, and when I got enough money to start hiring people, it was over with. You know, I was making the jobs got bigger. I'm making the same money I'm making on the smaller jobs, but now I can do more jobs because I hired crews. You know, and that's what people mess up a lot of times too. They don't want to. I was talking to a young lady yesterday. I said, "Why you won't hire nobody?" No, I need to keep money for myself. I don't want to pay. I'm gonna do it all myself. Well, you're gonna be stagnant. You're not gonna grow.
Well, some people say that you're trading your time for money, and that's almost like just still having a job. It's not like owning a business. If you're doing all the work and you're trading your time for money,
Yeah.
That's not owning a business. That's still just you've created a job for yourself.
Right.
If you're doing all the work. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. We go out and buy jobs. I tell a person, you know, I got a partner about a daylight donut, and he up at 5 o'clock in the morning at daylight donut working. You know, I'm like, you working harder now than you work before doing the work that you did to buy the company. So why did you buy yourself a job? I'm not gonna ever do that. You know,
That's because you call yourself. You say that's buying a job, and so tell us your thinking about hiring people. Well, so if I was gonna put a roof on and get $10,000 and I get 4 people working, how is that better for me? Go ahead and explain your thought about that, because a lot of people get that confused. They think, okay, I got to pay these 4 people. I could have gotten $10,000, but after I pay them, I'm only going to make 2 or 3.
Well, because now while they're doing the roof, instead of you doing the roof, they're doing the roof, and you're out finding more roofs.
Come on.
You know, so I used to do with the city. I used to do like a roof a day. You know, so we partners. I'm partnering with the crews. We gonna split this down the middle. We gonna chop this up, bam, straight down the middle. Instead of me they only making the money they can do a day. You know, I got a few crews that's doing roofs. So
Aaron.
I got it. We can't even see
Okay.
the TV right now. I got it.
So I got a few crews doing roofs. So the more crews I have, the more roofs I can do. All I got to do is go out there and sell the roofs. And I can't do that by being on the roof. You know, so that works. And so I was doing 30 roofs a month, you know.
And you're making 50% of the money not doing the work.
About a third of the money because your material, you know.
Well, 30% of the money
not doing nothing.
for just going and getting the job.
Not doing, being Tom Davis, pulling up in that black vet. Not doing nothing.
I noticed, I saw you had a really, really nice, it was funny when you said black, I thought it was that beautiful black truck I saw you in. So now you are Tom Davis. You're the guy pulling up in a nice new
I'm kind of surpassed Tom Davis, but yeah.
You passed him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, you're doing so well that just before this, you just came from the gym.
Yeah.
And this is a weekday. This is a weekday, and you're not at work, but you're making money right now while we're sitting here. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So tell us that concept. Because there's a lot of people in our community that don't own businesses and don't understand it. Go ahead and explain.
So my goal was to make as much money doing as little as possible. And so you got to figure out how to do that. So I visit right now I'm doing the landlord, and I own a couple other businesses. But the landlord thing and I got a residential treatment center. So once the construction took off, you only need so much money to live off of. You can only spend so much money. The rest of it you're gonna put over and save it or whatever. Well, I reinvested it, and 90% of my investment failed. But you don't need them all. You don't need all of them to be successful. You know what I'm saying? So you hit one. So the landlord thing's doing well. It takes care of my bills. It takes care of me. And then the residential treatment center does the rest. And so when I get a pile of money from that, I'm gonna go buy something else. I'm looking to open another one next year. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking my money to make more money. So it takes money to make money. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it takes money to make money.
So your money. So my son is a investment broker, and he's written several books.
Yeah.
Kevin Matthews II, and he says, and he believes that's totally in investing. And he says,
yeah,
Dad, I like to send my money out every day, and I want it to come back with friends.
Right.
And he says, every day that my money goes out, I want it to come back with friends. I want my money to make babies.
Yeah.
And bring more children back home to me. And so everybody listening to this, that sounds good. But were there along the way in your business, construction business or any of your business, were there some things that you learned where you made some mistakes and you learned from them?
Yeah. Every day you're gonna make as long as you get up and do anything, you're gonna make mistakes. You're not born knowing anything. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care. I can sit here. So when I first started, when I first started construction, when I first started building, when I first started investing, I've grown. So when I bought this residence treatment center, I've grown so much in this year. Even the people that I invested in with me, who were already in this type of industry, they've grown. So because iron sharpens iron, right? I'm not gonna sit back. I got a partner named Ollie Renty, and he needs to be on this. Ollie Renty. We was at the halfway house together. We was on a yard together. We walked the track together. We met each other.
Our producer is going to write that name down, Ollie Renty. We're going to get him as a guest.
So we walked together. He comes on. He's one of the more prominent builders, small black builders in Tulsa right now, and rehabs. So he do a lot of remodeling. Man, this guy, he's doing it because you got to have a drive in you. You know, everybody start on the path, right? They don't make it. You know what I'm saying? They give up.
Well, when you're saying that, see, it takes a little courage too to start a business, because you have to have a tolerance for risk, because you're taking a risk. Is that right?
You have a tolerance for failure. Because you're going to fail.
Okay. Is that okay to fail?
Yeah, that's a cheat sheet. Because you know what you did wrong.
That's how you learn?
Yeah. And you're going to come back, okay, I effed up on that. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to come back and do it better.
And people are afraid to make a mistake, so they stay a slave to a job where they're getting paid minimal of what they're worth just to be safe and say they didn't make a mistake.
I came home from the second time I came home from prison. And so I had to work. Part of my parole or probation, whatever it's called, I had to have a job. And I think I worked for 2.5 years. And the day they took that ankle monitor off my leg, the day I came off of probation, I quit my job.
Well, you had a job because you had to have a job.
They made me get a job. That's part of the conditions.
Okay.
So I took that. The second they signed them papers, I quit my job. I didn't go back. I went back to work for that week, and when Monday came, I'm out doing Damon. You know what I'm saying? I'm finding jobs for myself. You know, and now understand, I didn't have a job anymore, but I bet it on me. You know,
you gambled on yourself,
and so and to see a lot of people think success is, I own a construction company or I own any type of company. Oh, now I'm buying helicopters. No, that don't how that works. When I first started back in business, like I said, when I first started my construction company, I had to do everything myself. I was late on rent. I was late on, you know what I'm saying?
But you kept betting
I
on
kept
yourself.
going, you know what
You
I'm saying?
knew in your mind that you would get there.
Man, I remember one time I went to the grocery store, I had to take all my change. Me and my female friend, we in the grocery store, you know what I'm saying, with change. You know what I'm saying?
But you believing in yourself
yeah,
that much.
and kept going. You could quit any time and say, man, let me get a job. No, I'm banking on me. I got to do something better. What am I doing wrong? I got to make more money. And so you asked that question. So how do you grow?
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So you'll hit a limit, and you're gonna say, okay, now I got to do something better than this. I'm at the grocery store, you know, with quarters buying groceries, you know, and wasn't embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna count these out. The lady said, I got a machine over here. You know, you can pull out this machine. Oh, they got a machine. I don't trust the machine. No, I'm gonna count mine out. And so, and that made me say, okay, I got to do something different. And that's how you grow. That's where growth comes from. You're gonna figure out how to do something different to get better, or you're just gonna keep your condition, or we gonna continue to be late on rent. And so, and that said, okay, I'm about to buy a house now. You know, because I don't want to keep paying rent. I'm gonna buy me a house. Bought me a house. Then bought me 50 houses. You know, and I'm gonna be a landlord.
50.
Yeah.
Did you say you had you have?
I got 63. I got to look on my phone, but I got 60-some properties, yo.
And many of them over $200, $300, $400, $500,000.
About average, about 300, yeah.
Now, when you decided, I'm struggling. I got these coins, but I'm gonna keep betting on myself. Then what did you learn from the mistakes that you had made in construction?
Well,
that got you here where you're now coasting.
So it's just things that happen along the way. What made me start? So I had crews working for me. You know, I'm paying everybody by the hour. They went on strike.
Your crews?
Yeah, they went on strike. They seen a contract. They thinking, they thinking all that money coming to me. They like, no, I got to pay y'all this. I'm making the less money. So they went on strike because they all wanted a raise, right? And that could have ended me. So they introduced me to, I need to get somebody to do this work for me. So I started hiring crews. And the crazy part about that is I made more money getting subcontractors.
Wow.
So 2 days before that, if you'd asked me how to start a business, I'm like, man, go hire some people, this, that, and other. 2 days after the strike, I'd have said, man, go get you some subcontractors. They're gonna tell you how much the job gonna cost, and that's my growth. I started doing that, so I'm subbing things out. So I said, let me find y'all some jobs. Instead of me finding me a job, I'm gonna find each one of you. I'm gonna find you a roofing job. I'm gonna find you a window job. I'm gonna find you a siding job. So I'm just sitting back and calling them. Hey, I got a siding job. I got a roofing job. I'm about to build a house. I need to get a framing job. And that's where now I have multiple, they don't know none of them work for me, they subcontract, they work for everybody. But I'm finding them jobs. And I'm making money off of their labor. You know, and that's where I went and found jobs. I'm finding jobs in Texas. I'm like, you know somebody in Texas? Can you do it? I'm all over finding jobs, everywhere. And so that's where that took off. And to today, that's my philosophy to do. I don't know.
Now, when you hire a contractor, do you have to finance it before you pay him?
Yeah. So that's how you in the game. So you gonna at least buy the material,
right?
And you gonna pay them, right? Mm-hmm. So that's how you kind of. So a lot of your guys, the last nail to go in, the last piece of tape come out, they want their money. You know what I'm saying? So that's where your value is. Mm-hmm. And now you just got to get your money from the city or the client.
Right.
And I don't like private, so I did a lot of government, money guaranteed. As long as the job is right, money guaranteed. And so I did that from 93 to incarceration, 2008.
Okay, so let's switch. Another thing I admire about you is you're a great father. So
Allegedly.
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because I know the children I know of yours are very successful.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? What kind of mindset have you put into your children that's giving them so much drive? The ones that I know have a lot of drive. And is it them just watching you?
That's it.
What do you teach that makes them have that killer instinct?
Example, they don't watch you. Your kids are watching you. I was a father that was present, so they seen me, and they seen the fruits of my labor, right?
But what kept them from being those spoiled kids that, well, my dad got it, so I don't have to do anything? How did you teach to make them not lazy?
Oh, so my oldest boy, the one my oldest boy named Marco, he had to work with one of my crews.
Oh, he actually was out there working.
Yeah.
You didn't just hand him money and he's at home in the bed.
Oh, no. He had to get out there and work bottom man on the totem pole. You know what I'm saying? He got promoted every month. You know what I'm saying? Now you the bottom, so you know how that worked. Now you working with him. Now you the foreman. I had to teach him a valuable lesson one time. I said, these ain't your friends, man. Go fire him. We just was eating lunch. Yeah, because he was your boss two weeks ago. Now go fire him. I remember one time he was helping. They was BSing on the job. He helping them. I said, man, this is your company.
He's having fun with them.
Yeah. So I hit the corner. I come back to the block. They sitting around chilling.
And they're getting paid, and this is part of his company.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So and so that I used to make him read the contracts. I'm driving a lot, man. Read me this contract. So he's been reading contracts since third grade. And so that's where he get his from. And the rest of them just seen their daddy and heard about, you heard about your daddy because seeing means nothing, but to hear about him from other people, now. So that's where that drive came from. I got kids that couldn't care less. They nothing like the other ones. Raised by the same man, seen the same things. And, it's just who you are. It's just what's in you. What you cut like. I got a son he on go. You know what I'm saying? I tell him all the time, boy, if you ever slow down, all that's chasing you gonna catch up with you. He a billionaire now. He just won't let the money catch him. He all over. I'm a firm believer. If you're gonna start a company, this is me.
Now explain that. You say you're a billionaire now. He won't let the money catch him.
Yeah, he won't let it catch him.
What does that mean?
So me, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna do construction until construction can do something else. So that money I make in construction is gonna take care of me, and it's gonna help me start another business. Well, and then that's gonna help me. So he believes in. I don't believe in fire, iron, whatever that saying is, multiple irons in the fire. I believe in let's perfect this one. Let's perfect this one. What did Ford do? Name all the Ford stuff. Nothing. Ford automobile. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm pretty sure they got other investments, but Ford did the automobile. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Ford. What did Rockefeller do? Oil. It ain't Rockefeller this and that and other. They may invest it later on, but they grew that first. And I tell them all the time, man, grow this first. But he'll start this. Okay, that's one company. Let's go jump and get another company. And if he just stay in one, that one take off, it's going to take years. People think it's instant. Success don't come instantly, overnight.
They call it soaring with your strengths and manage your weaknesses. People say, a lot of people say, I'm going to work on my weaknesses. No, work hard on your strengths and let other people do that.
Yeah.
And concentrate. But if you were other people that's listening to this, they feel like they got bad credit, don't have a lot of money, parents don't have a business. How can a person like that start a business with bad credit and not a lot of money? How can they start a business?
I came home from prison. I had nothing.
You had nothing.
I was staying with my parents, driving my father's toy car. He had a little bitty one. Look, I don't know how he fit in it. I'm borrowing his car. But I took steps. So what do I need to start my own company? Go to the bank and ask them, how do I qualify for a loan? They're gonna tell you.
Oh.
They're gonna give you a list. Just come with this. You gotta have a credit score of this. Okay, well, the first thing, let me get a credit score. I got my LLC. I got everything that the bank told me I needed. He gave me a list. I said, now I gotta get my credit score up. Didn't have bad credit. I just didn't have any credit because I was locked up. So people don't know this. No credit is way worse than bad credit.
Okay.
So you got to establish credit now, where you can fix bad credit. So I had to establish credit. So my journey was kind of harder. So I had to establish credit, and that took a couple of years because you're not gonna go in there and say, "Well, it's 2 years old now." You need to at least be 3 years old for your credit score to look like something. And so 3 years. So my drive was I knew in 3 years I'm gonna come back. So that takes dedication to say, oh, I'm gonna see you in 3 years.
Wow.
And walked in there 3 years later. Here, wow. This is what I need, right? Now here's your loan. And that's how that took off. But I stayed persistent. I stayed on it. I was grinding. And I didn't care then a lot of us worried about what people thinking.
Come on now.
So
you weren't worried about people looking down on you?
I'm me.
You're a felon. You didn't have you didn't even have your own house. You staying with your parents.
Yeah.
You drive. You weren't worried about it. As good looking as you are and as popular as you are, that didn't bother you?
At all. I remember I got my first apartment. I got an apartment, not my first, my only. I went and got an apartment. And because my son, when I came home from prison, my son, I left, he was 10. I came back, he was grown. And I said, you got to come stay with me. You know what I'm saying? He was still in high school, going to high school. So you got to come stay with me. And so I got an apartment just so, because he wanted to go to Wausau. You had a choice. You got a Wausau or Broken Arrow, where you want to go. So we ended up going to Wausau. And I went and bought, this is all my furniture. I bought 2 TVs, TV for him, TV for me, and 2 air mattresses. Air mattress for him, air mattress for me. That was my house. And I had women coming over to my house, sitting on that air mattress and watching my TV. I didn't blink, didn't care, wasn't ashamed, and my partners might come over. I only had to have furniture. So you had to come in my room, or we gonna stand up in the living room and just take a knee or something. So he come in my room, he said, man, you inviting people to your house, and the only furniture you have is a TV and an air mattress. And you having sex on this air mattress. You know how people, I see memes all the time. If you pull up at somebody's house, and this is how their house look, an air mattress and TV. I'm like, somebody took a picture of my room, my old room, but that was me, an air mattress and a TV.
Do you remember the people that respected and valued when you had nothing? Now that you're wealthy, does it make a difference to you who trusted you and who was there for you when you didn't have anything?
Man, my family, man, I was blessed to be born into that family. You know what I'm saying?
Supportive family?
Man, because a lot of guys didn't have that, man. I was blessed to have that family, my grandmother, my mother, my sister, my father, you know what I'm saying, my son, at the time, my girlfriend. I was blessed. I was just blessed to be born into that family and have those people on my side, in my corner then. So I can't tell you how to make it without that family, without that support, because I had that support. It ain't like I was doing it by myself. I had that. My grandmother gave me, when I started my construction company back, quit my job, started my construction company back. She's, and I'm doing smaller jobs. And I talked, my mother, my grandmother, I talked to them. And my grandmother gave me her credit card. No, my mother gave me her credit card, which shocked me. She had a Home Depot credit card, Lowe's credit card, and gave it to me. I thought that was a trick, because, my mama's, she's hard as they come, lovely woman, but she was hard on me, and I'm like, man, she gave me a credit card. Oh, I got to, and that was a boost for me, That enabled me. My girlfriend gave me her credit card, pretty much, and just so those people having trust in you, and so I was blessed to have that. Now, I can't tell you how to do it without that.
Well, are you that same way? Where you see a person, family member, or whatever, that's really, really trying hard and need a little help?
So trying hard don't count.
Talk to me about what does count.
That don't count, man. I got to see that you've done it. I got to see what they saw in me.
That you willing to do anything and use those coins,
right, man?
Do whatever.
I got to see that in you, because trying hard don't mean nothing. You know, you're not doing enough because you're trying hard. I don't see, because you don't have people in your life that after trying hard, the second you give them something, they fall off or run off or you thinking, oh, was it a setup? So trying hard and a good investment is two different things.
So how do you recognize a good investment in a person?
Man,
When you see them doing what?
Because you're gonna see results. You're gonna see them doing extra. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see them doing it. You're gonna see them. You're gonna see. If I can recognize me and you, because that's the only example I have. It's me. If I can recognize myself in you, I got you. I have children, and I've invested in my children. I don't have a helicopter yet. I'm not saying it was bad investments, but I've to the point to where you got to show me better than that. Because I was investing because they were my children. I'm thinking, oh, they got it, you know. So I invested in my children without seeing, just doing. And so that was, to your answer, that was because that was a spoil. I guess because I was felt guilty, but that was a spoil thing to just bless them with, finances.
You don't think that's a good idea today?
No, they want to show. If your kid comes, hey, Daddy, I'm a blah, 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 and you just give him the money because you thinking that's my kid and bad idea. Show me. Let's talk about it. Show me how you get here, what you're gonna do. Why I gotta tell you all that? you gotta tell me the same. You gotta convince me like you gotta convince the bank, because I'm not giving you nothing.
But an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not giving you nothing. Convince me like you gotta convince the bank, and that's where a lot of us make mistakes. I seen a family member build a whole building for their child to turn around and say, I'm cool, I ain't gonna do nothing. Wasted that money.
Wow. You can't want it more than they want it for themselves.
Yeah, right, and that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we want. That's, man, you know, as a parent, your number one thing is for your children to be way successful than you. And you're gonna help them. But if they're not, what's the saying? Lead them to water, but you can't make them drink.
Man, I never bought my children. They probably felt like I was hard. Never bought them a car. Never bought them a house. All I did was bought their education. If you want to go to college, I pay for that. And then if you have a car and you're trying to I might help you a little bit where you buying one. If you buying one, you got 80%, I might give you 10 or 20% because you maxed out. But I think the best learning is for them to, because you don't build no muscles if you don't have no strength.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this is the last few minutes. So if someone is just coming home from prison right now, somebody's just starting all over and coming home, one of the things that I do, I'm doing restorative justice where I provide temporary housing and even some jobs for folks coming home. What would you recommend that they do? Because what happens and I've got many relatives, my cousin Mars, man, that I love so much. But, a lot of times when people be gone so long, that space that family had for them is gone. And even though people love them, they don't have a place for them and all that. What would you say a person needs to do if they're coming home kind of lost and got some talent but just don't know what to do? Do you have any suggestions or thoughts for a person trying to reestablish themselves? They might go bankrupt. They might have been divorced and lost all of their stuff. How would you... So what advice would you give a person?
If I'm coming home from prison today, and I don't have my family support, right?
Oh.
So
you said you did have it.
Right. And say I don't have it.
Okay.
But there are still programs out here.
Ah.
You know what I'm saying? Just utilize those programs. walking out the door, they gave me a list of programs, and I went and visited them all, They gave you food stamps, they help you with housing, because the sad part it is a felon can't rent.
Oh, wow.
You can't go to an apartment, they're not gonna rent to you.
Okay.
I had family, but I had a sister sign, rented a place for me. So, but they have situations for you. So the number one thing you gotta do, whatever put you in prison, whatever element that was, stay away from that.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't go back to that. I don't care.
So do you believe that no matter how smart you are and capable you are, the people you're around and the environment you put yourself around,
right?
Is that gonna make a lot of difference?
That makes absolutely. Man, listen, man. I of course I was in that environment, right? I wave at you when I see you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna come to your house. I'm not gonna hang out with you. I know you. I'm gonna respect the fact that I know you, but I'm gonna keep it pushing. I'm gonna come talk to you, Mr. Matthews. I got other friends that's valuable, that got worth and got something to lose. I got a partner. I only hang out.
Whoa, say that again.
Yeah.
You want to be around people that have what?
Something to lose.
Something to lose.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
If you don't have nothing to lose, I got great partners. That's my partners, but my daily partners, they all own the company.
They all own the company.
Every last one of them. I don't interact because the conversations are different. All my partners that I deal with, not my friends, not the guy. I got some partners that I grew up with and, ride or die. You know what I'm saying? But the guys that I interact with on a daily basis, they all own the company. And that's all we got time to talk about. It's growth. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? If I'm dating you as a female, we talking about when you starting a company. Just getting up and going to work every day is fine. But I like to move around. And you got to take off and all that, we gonna change that. And I'm gonna help you change it. And that's just it. And I'm not knocking work. But I don't know how to conversate with a person that has a 9 to 5. I don't want to hear them conversations. I don't care about your boss did this and your coworker did. I don't want to hear them. That makes my head hurt. Tell me let's talk about, I have a meeting every day with my partners, with my resident treatment center. And the first thing I say, who can we fire today? Who didn't do enough for HAC? Who's not valuable enough? Because you got to show value every day. What have you done for me lately? Who can we fire today? Are we firing anybody today? And let me do it. That's the first words come out of my mouth. Now everybody, tell me that person's value. Tell me what they do to make. What did they do yesterday that's valuable for us? Don't say come to work. Ooh, and so and that's the conversation I'm gonna have with you.
Well, it's very interesting. I want you to watch for Damon Ousley, Silver Fox, and watch his show. This is a segue right into it because the conversation rule the nation. Intellectual stimulation is what I love. The women I choose, they may be attracted to my eye, but you got to be sexy to my mind. Yeah. And the big deal is the intellectual stimulation. When you talk about who you're around, and you said your business partners and even your personal partners in life, yeah. It has to do with the conversations that you have. Are they stimulating? Are they feeding? And are you growing because of them? And so we want you to continue to watch Second Chance Superstars. We want you to follow Mr. Ousley and get into that intellectual stimulation. One of the things that we don't have, and the reason I started this podcast, we have churches where people go religiously and all that, but a lot of times we don't have conversations about how to live and be successful. And so I want to thank you for taking the time today to come out and share the way that you became successful, because I think we all need it. It's inspiring to me, and I'm sure it's inspiring to our audience. So as we close out, do you want anything else you want to say to people that are listening, people that have a son or daughter that's kind of lost, people that are just feeling like, hey, I fail and that's it. Tell us how that's not true and give us some closing words.
It ain't over until just like stock. You haven't lost. I don't care what the stock market is. You haven't lost until you sell it.
As long as you still got it.
As long as you still got it, you're good. As long as you stay in the game, man. Stay in the game. Don't walk away from it. I don't care what. I failed so many times, and I'm failing today somewhere. I'm pretty sure somewhere in business. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna sit back and look at it, assess what my day today, and I'm gonna make my day tomorrow's gonna be a better situation, right? From whatever mistakes, what I could have done better. Even with this, how can I have done this better? So when I do mine, it's gonna be better than yours.
That's right.
So I'm gonna assess this, and that's just how you got it, man. Every day you gotta grow. When you fall, get up.
That's great.
You don't stay on. You know what I'm saying? When I fall, I hop up.
Well, Mr. Green was a good friend, old guy that was a street hustler and a mentor of mine. And he would invest in me. We would sit for hours and talk. And one of the things that he said to me, he said, Kevin, in business, you're going to win and you're going to lose.
Right.
He said, the only goal you have is just to win more than you lose, because you're going to lose. He said, but if you win more than you lose, you're a winner. And so I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you guys for listening to our guest, Mr. Damon Ousley, the Silver Fox. I want to thank him for his time. And I want to thank Aaron for producing this. And thank you for listening. Have a good day. Thank you for watching this episode. To see episodes early, subscribe to my Patreon with the link below. You also get bonus content. You get to decide who I talk to or what I talk about. And after every episode, I get on there and talk about what we learned from each episode. So join our Patreon today, and I want you to be part of my Second Chance Redemption Circle, a movement of second chances, power, and purpose.